Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. I'm back. Don't hate me. I know I've taken so many bye weeks already in the podcast season. I feel like a bad podcast, but I wanted to come back with something special and I wanted to come back with some fire and some energy. And who else better to do that than the man, the myth, the legend, third time's the charm, back on the show, Zim. How are you?
Pretty good. It's been 3 times.
Yes, this is our third time.
Damn, bro. Like, I just like talking to you, so it's all good, man. I'm just,
Hey,
I'm just, I'm just feeling good. We just came off a good win. How do you feel?
I'm feeling good. Like you said, I like talking to you. This is a great way to get myself back in, kind of get the blood flowing again, make sure I'm still on my shit. And like I gotta hand it to you. During the game yesterday, I was watching it with my friend and we were in my room and you tweeted something and I think Joe got hit late and you tweeted like that was a late hit, you coochies, move the fucking chains. And I was like, oh my God, that is insane. And I showed it to my friend and I was like, this is what we need it, like, as Bama fans, because he's my roommate. We've known each other forever. And
bro,
I was like, this is what we need. This is what we need every
bro.
day.
I promise you, do this. Do yourself a favor. Anybody listening to this, including yourself, if you ever feel like doubt or you feel anything that you just want to hear, like somebody, like I black out for real. Even my son is like involved with this now. Come to my Instagram live during the game. I promise you. If you think that that's something like complete fireworks yesterday,
I
like go in and just like even for like 10 minutes, like I get players like that, like players that are on injured reserve and stuff. They were like in my live yesterday. I promise you, like because it's so lit because it's literally like 500 people in there like at a time,
mhm.
and it's like I think I harness so much energy on so many people that doubt the Bengals that it's like all the people that really love this team. We started this thing called the Harry Nuts game. And we and
Yeah.
we go and we're on Instagram, and when people come in there with that BS and they're talking like, oh man, we're gonna lose and stuff, like everybody like is the opposite of like Facebook and all this other stuff. Everybody trounces on them and they're like, get out of here. Like you
Yeah.
can't come in here with that stuff. Like this is a dub. We could be down 14 points. If you ever want to just feel like live and like, like and it's so crazy. These kids, like when I started this like 4 years ago, we would be losing big and I'd be like, oh my God, like
Mhm.
like I had to change my vocabulary because I'd be like, man, we suck. And like it
Mhm.
was young. That's how I developed Burrow Babies. It was young kids that would be like, nah, Zen, we still got this. Like, we don't suck. Like,
Mhm.
remember you said we get, and I was like, you know what? Like, yeah. And then here we are, like 4 years later, after doing these lives on Sunday, it's like we do not tolerate
Mhm.
fake fake fans and we go
Negativity.
crazy. Like any of that stuff, like any of that late hit stuff or whatever, like we're all over it. So then I go
Yeah.
to Twitter sometimes and I try to express that though. So that's what
Mhm.
you saw.
Yeah, it was crazy. I watched it and I'm like, that is exactly what I would expect out of a Zoom tweet on a Sunday afternoon. And the funniest thing is like some of the episodes I've been delayed because I've been out doing club golf stuff because I'm an executive and I'm playing out there. And so I can't really keep up with the game because I can't watch it on my phone. And so I'm just looking at tweets. And then I'll see stuff like you and you'll like tweet something like, get you coochies out of here. And I'm just seeing that. Like I have no idea what's going on in the game. And I just see like a Zim update. And I think they might be one of my favorite things in the world.
That's awesome, man. That's
But
crazy.
yes, we are coming off a great win. I do want to talk about that for a while, but I want to start off with how you thought prior to yesterday's game. Try to think about that as not happening. Let's put that back for a second. Let's talk about how you go into the last 2 weeks of right before your bye week. You're looking at the schedule and you see Jets. And I know I've talked about this game, and um, you see Cleveland after that, and you're like, oh, this could be a great like final 2 game stretch. You go in, you possibly win 2 games, and then you're 7-2 going into the bye week. And then you drop two and you go into the bye week. What were you thinking going into the bye week? And give me how you went through the bye week and kind of how you processed what you think we could have done better, what you think we have improved on from last year, and what we needed to do going into yesterday's win.
Going into the bye week, I'm not gonna lie. I think I did a show with somebody, and they were like, "Man, we needed this." You know, I tweeted like, "Yeah, we need to reset." But honestly, after we lost, that last game, I felt like it was just a victim of self-inflicted wounds and stuff. And I was like, man, I wish they had a Thursday night game. I wanted to play like right away.
Mhm.
But that's the aggressive, nature in me sometimes. And I think it was really, really good for the defense to kind of reset, get back to what they were doing before in doing different things to work the line of scrimmage. Like I listened to my guy Bengals Sands a lot, and we were talking about like, why do the Cleveland Browns have so much success? And one of the things that he was talking about is like they try to take these one-on-one blocks, and everything's got to be perfect. He was like, I want them to do like what the old Cowboys used to do, is just spill it. And early on in the game, that's what they were doing, like where the linemen just shift and they're just collapsing everything along the line. So everybody doesn't have to be perfect. Like it's just a domino effect. Like this block now got messed up. Now this guy's trying to come over and help, and Jacobs couldn't do anything. So I think they made that adjustment. I think a lot of the mistakes that they were making, like in the last 2 weeks too, I could see even from the offensive line. I think like early on, Reef was getting killed. I thought some of the pressures, like PFF has said, 2 out of the 10 pressures are actually on the offensive line. I beg to differ. I think a little bit more was on the offensive line, but I walked away from that game saying they made the adjustments, came back second half. Quentin Spain was balling. Adeniji was balling. Like I'm looking at who's getting pushed. When we get to those 31s with P. Ryan and stuff like that, they just pounded it in there. And it was so perfect for me because I feel like the Bengals for the first time. Now the Browns game, I thought this too, but the 2 drives that they had at the beginning of that game are very important for this season. Those 2 drives, one of them was the pick 6, right? But everything about that drive was marvelous. If everybody can remember, like we're always clamoring for them to do something early in the game, right? The first drive of the game, they march down the field methodically. Everybody touches the ball, running the ball. Everything that they called was gas. Everything was hitting. Pick 6. They come back, do it again, score again. Then they started making their own mistakes, fumble on their side of the field, don't get the 4th and 3. 2021 teams come back and crush that, and just back in the day, 1998, you get a 14-point lead, teams would sit on it and run the football. Not anymore. Like you go up 14, you keep the gas on and blow teams out. That's why you see so many blowouts this year. So moving forward, I thought like they need to work off of those 2 drives. I'm so fixated on those first 2 drives of the Browns game. It was so perfect. I was talking to Deniji about that. I was like, "What was so different about it?" It was like, man, I was tired because those were his first reps at right guard.
Yeah,
but it was like, man, it did have this rhythm to it, and I think we made a couple adjustments. He couldn't tell me, but we made a couple adjustments. And if you look later in that game too, after the 75-yard run from Chubb, he didn't do anything after that. They started making adjustments then. That's why I was so eager, like, let's go play.
Yeah.
I think they got a chance to sit back and, come back. But coming into the game, I said, man, I'm going to tell you some games that I'm really worried about. One of the games I'm really worried about is the 49ers. And a lot of our fans are overlooking that game. No, what they're presenting from on the run game is a big problem. Now, I don't mind if we're going to lose a game to an NFC opponent rather than an AFC opponent, so we can still own these tiebreakers. I do not like that matchup, and I just thought that if you even looked online, the odds of us making the playoffs were 38 to 44% if we before coming into the Raiders game. If you win the game, your odds go to 64%.
Yeah.
So automatically right there, and then you got 5 out of 6 games at home. So I'm like, man, if I can win that game, say I make another mistake later in the season or something, whatever, like I'm still kind of in the driver's seat. I go to the 5. I'm now at the 5 seat, right? So coming into it, I don't know if you saw that tweet. I was like, once the Ravens, I wish they would have lost, and it would have put us in first place. But the Ravens and the Browns game, I just thought like it's for the taking. I think our best chance of getting to the playoffs and like being where we want to be is winning the division. And looking at the Ravens, and I don't think it's far-fetched. I just don't think the wild card scenarios they're going to be super dangerous. And I've always
Yeah.
said that if we get to the playoffs, Joe can win that game. But,
Yep.
I don't know if I answered everything, but that was a must-win game coming into that game to me.
Yeah.
And I tweeted that, coming out because it's one of the opponents that I thought we match up really, really well with. I don't like the matchup with, the Chargers are probably one of the more balanced teams that we're going to see. I don't like the matchup with the Chiefs because I just don't. They're the most explosive team to me in the NFL until somebody proves them different. I don't care if they score 19 points or whatever. So those are two games, I don't like. I mean, in the 49ers, those are 3 games. So I'm like, if the Raiders, their best thing is edge position, their edge rushers. Okay, I got the best tackle tandem, like top 5 in the NFL. Let's see what you got. The Raiders are 28th against run. Let me run. What other team in the AFC? I'm gonna ask you, Garrett. What other team in the AFC is more balanced than the Cincinnati Bengals right now that can beat you through the air and run?
Right now, in the AFC,
this is not Homer glasses.
Yeah.
This is just real stuff.
I know.
Who's balanced?
And
Bills we know throw.
Yeah,
Chiefs we know throw.
And then you have the Colts, they run. Jonathan Taylor's a beast, but you look at Carson Wentz, and then you have, who's their guys? Michael Pittman, yeah.
But he's evolving. He's kind of on the and you could take him out, and they have nothing that they're really offering special from the tight end position either.
Yeah,
and they don't really have the balanced attack. But keep on going. I'm sorry.
And the only other team I would say is the Chiefs, but the only reason why they're balanced is because they're explosive, and they can get you on 3-play drives where they're hitting Tyreek twice, and then you go and you have a Kelce. Middle, Kelce right down the middle. It's
what about the Patriots?
Hey, Mac Jones right now is looking like.
Hey, hold on, don't come on here with all that Alabama crap.
Sorry. I think Jamar should win Offensive Rookie of the Year, but Mac Jones is making his case. Let me just say that.
Right.
I was kind of surprised when everybody came into the draft, Mac Jones is easily the worst quarterback. And I'm like, did you watch any Alabama film of him just dissecting just great, but
it's hard, but it's hard to judge Alabama because the talent level is so high at the wide receiver position.
Yeah.
You got Waddle, you got, what I'm saying? At the time, you got Waddle, you got Devonta Smith, you got all these different weapons. Didn't they have Herb? They're so loaded that it's hard that, and it just becomes okay, well, Saban how much they just make them manage games even if they don't want to. I think Tua is the last one. I think what most guys like myself are looking for are people, because of Pat Mahomes did this. I mean, really Tony Romo and Steve Young did this, but who can improvise?
Yeah,
that's what makes quarterbacks in the NFL legit. Josh Allen, Herbert, Joe Burrow, they improvise. They don't have to scramble. Kyler Murray. They don't have to scramble. They it's so. Brett Favre did it. Aaron Rodgers did it. It's it took the league a while to catch on. These guys that go off script. Our fans hate the fact that Joe Burrow gets hit, but they don't watch other games. Josh Allen's a bigger quarterback, but he gets hit because he moves and he's looking to run sometimes, and sometimes he's not, but he's getting extra time, and that's how we hit Jamar Chase with all those things. So fans come back, Joe Burrow's getting hit too much. It's just the way, it's the nature of the beast. He needs to get down on some of that stuff, but that's how he plays. That's just what it is, bro.
That's what it was yesterday. And moving to that, yesterday, I think it answered all of my questions, because going into yesterday, I was like, can Joe Burrow have a turnover-free game? Which, obviously we had that fumble in the first drive, which I think was just unfortunate. It was just an unfortunate timing play that happens. That stuff happens. Wasn't his fault. Didn't throw an interception, which I wanted to see. That was the big question I had, was can he go through an entire game without throwing a sneaky interception? Because he doesn't throw egregious interceptions. It's not It's not an incredible feat. It's just he'll throw 3 touchdowns, but then have a little rinky dink accidental.
The Ravens game.
Yeah, the Ravens game.
I hated that throw. I was so mad.
Yeah.
It's because I know that all of our opposition and these fake analysts and stuff, they don't watch the games. They're just going to look at his interception of it. I might have tweeted. I was so mad when he threw that pick because I'm like, at the end of this game, and then we start looking at stats and who throws the most pick, they're going to try to take him out of comeback player of the year and all that stuff because they're going to be looking at interceptions because they don't watch the game. Pure domination, throws a pick.
Yeah, it was, and I think it was just he underthrew him a little bit. That's just what happens when you play the game of football. It's unfortunate, but it happens, and I think it's like you said, it's not like you're not watching the game. It's not as egregious as what it seemed. It wasn't like, oh, he's down by 10 trying to lead like a crucial drive down the field, throws an interception. It's you're up by 21, makes one bad throw. He's getting hit while he's doing it too. So, I mean, bad interception, but like,
I hate that one. Like, see, to me, like a real interception is the pick six. A real interception is kind of a freaky play, but the Bears game, that was his worst game.
Yeah.
Those interceptions are real. The Jets one that cost us the game at the end ultimately is a ball like that you would have never. Yeah, I don't consider that like a real pick. Like when I agree. When I watch like, let's use Jameis Winston, whatever.
Okay.
Like when he was, he had a really good year that year with the Bucs, but he threw a lot of crazy picks in that season, and it was much more bad than good. But those, to me, those are like crazy picks. The pick, the one that he throws on the Jamar slant last week with the Browns, or 2 weeks ago with the Browns, I know it pops up in the air, but he should have never threw that ball. That's a bad ball to me. So it's like certain ones. Every interception is a story. I just know that everybody in my mind, maybe I just use it as fuel or whatever, but everybody I feel like is against us, and they don't watch us and they don't want us to win. And so they're going to try to figure out what they can do to try to compare or break us down. And they're going to use interceptions against us.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't have interceptions, he only threw for 150 or something. Yeah, but we ran for 30 times and we were dominating them on the ground. Why would you even throw?
Yeah. So the one thing that, like you said, they're not gonna watch the game, but I'm sure you also watched the LA game last night. I know you did because I saw you tweeting about it, and which once again it was hilarious. But I want to look at I want to look at this game from last night because they're gonna do the same thing of you see, like I'd say that last night, the Pittsburgh game and then our game, those were pretty comparable games when it comes down to it on paper. But if you don't watch those games, you see Justin Herbert's stat line, 30 for 41 for almost 400 and 3 TDs and an interception. But then you look at Joe's and he had only 200 yards passing, and everybody's
I don't even think he had that. I thought it was like 150.
Yeah, I think it was like it was in the 100s, and then he had a fumble, but he also had a touchdown. So it's like, however, our game was not dominated by the air, unlike last night, because and it was like
he was 20 for 29. I feel like that's what makes this team so good, though, bro. Is that we can win both ways. You cannot tell me Austin Eckler can run 30 times for 123 yards, 130 yards. Like, they can't win like that, bro. Like, they cannot win no smash mouth game like that. The best teams in the AFC are limited. The Bills only throw. They do not run the football. They only throw. The Ravens only have one guy that is the whole entire offense. I don't care if Hundley beat them. Like, look at the competition and who they were playing. It's just one guy, Lamar Jackson. If he balls out, it gets crazy. If he doesn't, like, they have no balance. Like, they were a great running team, but a lot of coordinators have figured out a lot of different things. That's why I posed that question to you. I'm like, if you're here to tell me that the Bengals, like, say you're not a Bengals fan, you're here to tell me like, oh yeah, man, Bengals might have a shot. Why aren't you saying, I know that we lost those 2 games straight and I hate it. But who, like, if you're really watching the Bengals or you're really even looking at highlights or you're playing fantasy football, you got to be looking at a team and saying, bro, they scored 30 points damn near every week. They lost a crazy game to the Jets. They only got blown out one time, and that was the Browns game. And if you really watch that Browns game, there was a lot of stuff that we had success on.
Mhm.
But be that as it may, we got our ass kicked, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of these teams out here that people are putting heavy stock in that got their ass whooped. Like the Bills got their ass whooped by the Colts yesterday. Like
2 times in a row.
5 touchdowns. Like they're getting crushed out here. So that's why I'm asking, if you're from the outside looking in, who's more balanced than the Bengals? Who could win like that?
And who's more balanced offense and defense?
And defense. We got 2 of the highest pass rushers in the NFL. People keep on trying to say Sam Hubbard just like came out of there. No, this whole year he's been leading the league in pressures. Their tackle, our edge tandem is in the top 5 as far as sacks as well now too. So you got that. You got and that's not even the strength of our defensive line. The strength of our defensive line is DJ Reader in the interior because you can't run on it. There's only been one 100-yard rusher. That was Aaron Jones and then Nick Chubb because now he's got a 75-yard. So I'm sorry, 2 100 runners the whole entire year.
Out of 11 games.
Who went off on us, like on any game, like any running games? Who went off us on the only person I remember in a passing game that went off on us was Devontae Adams. We took them to overtime, should have won that game. There's no game that you can say the Bengals just absolutely got destroyed except the Browns game. And a lot of these other teams aren't like that. They're losing to the Lions. Like when we play the Lions, we whooped them because we're a way better team. When we play the Ravens, like we whooped them because we're a way better team. It's like not no luck. It's not like how the Browns won, where it's like these self-inflicted. Like we can win several different ways, and I love that because that's what's going to get them far in the playoffs. And I'm going on record. I said this when we beat the Jags. They're going to the playoffs. Like
I agree.
To me, it's like, where are you going to be at in the playoffs? Because that shit really matters. You don't want to go to the playoffs and then your first round matchup be like the Patriots.
Yeah.
Like a sound football team. Like that's another thing that's super slept on was that the Bengals don't commit that many penalties. They're a very disciplined team in that regard.
They have the lowest penalties in the league right now.
In the league. Talk to them.
The whole league.
We got to tweet that out because I think when people lose a game, they're so quick to be like, get Zach out of here. Bro, where were you the last 2 years when we didn't win anything? And now this dude is probably freaking coach of the year candidate right now if he goes to the playoffs. And you talking about firing him? Like, what you trying to do? To beat the Browns? Like, just fire guys and go get Tim Couch.
Maybe it'll solve our problems. And go hire fucking Freddie Kitchens.
Right. Let's go get Kitchens and let's go draft Tim Couch.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck out of here. Like, we're trying to win games. And we're doing it for consistency. And I thought it was really good. I'm going to tell you, Garrett, the best drive of that game is the Ja'Marr Chase touchdown because it had a little bit of sauce from everything. It's 6 minutes and 12 seconds. And it runs the football. They throw the football. The good coaching. They challenge the 12 men on the field. They go and take their shot third down. And beautiful shit. When it was time to get the 3rd and 1 P round, let's stack it up. Prince on the line, let's stack it up. Let's run. Go get our 1 yard. Boom, we're back. First down. That's how you get an identity. That's how you get a drive. You cannot stop us. I promise you. Every other team that I look at, I feel like I have an answer for them, except maybe the Patriots. I feel like I got or the Chiefs because the improvising of Pat Mahomes is something much like Burrow.
Yeah,
it's just nothing you can really do. Sometimes your defense can be amazing. He breaks out of the pocket. I call it a Uchiwali. Joe Burrow, Uchiwali's in the pocket. He gets out of that thing. And then next thing you know, he's hitting Ja'Marr Chase for 50 yards. You never know.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, you cannot hold Tyreek Hill longer than 3 seconds. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
it's exactly like you said, the 50-yard chase touchdown, like at halftime of the Packers game. That's exactly what the situation you described. But I agree. I think there are only hold on. I actually have it up. I think there are only 2 games that I am not super excited about for the rest of the year. And it's I think it's the Ravens. I'm sorry, not the Broncos, the Ravens.
I like the
Broncos.
The
Chiefs. I like the
Broncos. I'm gonna tell you, go watch the 49ers though. When it kicked our ass, I think it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
They had Mostert. Jimmy Wilson, who they still have, and then they had the other dude, Breda, right?
Yeah,
Do you remember how they ran all over us?
it was bad. I was at the game.
The linebackers now, with Akeem Davis Gaither going out, the one thing that looked bad to me yesterday was the linebackers.
Yeah.
So when I look at that 49ers game, I'm telling people right now, if they don't stop the run, it's a different type of stop the run. They're not going to be running at Reader like the AFC North does.
They're going
to
run this way.
Right. They're going to hit the perimeters, and Logan Wilson cannot get out there. Like, bro, if you've ever seen Elijah Mitchell run, if you play fantasy football, their alignments, their stuff that they do in motion, you have to communicate, and you've never seen anything like this. The only teams that stop them are the teams in their division, like that see it.
Yeah,
it's going to really be a big deal for me, like watching that game. And once they start getting that going, then Jimmy G could just dump it off, and you know he doesn't have to do much. But that's a scary. I don't know why, bro. That's the scariest game for me.
I think we can beat the Chargers. They show that they're very beatable last night, especially against Pittsburgh, who was easily the worst team, not worst team, because but like LA didn't show me any reason other than Justin Herbert dump off passes to Austin Eckler. Like if we can have Logan Wilson shadowing Austin Eckler all game, that's out of the picture.
Right.
Because when you give Logan Wilson time to read the field, it's over. And unfortunately, he only got beat last week on the one touchdown throw Derek Carr had. Hate Derek Carr, by the way. Have no idea why. I just hate him.
Why?
I don't know. I can't stand him. Yesterday,
he's a good guy, man. Remember when when Ruggs killed the person? He said, "Man, Ruggs needs to be loved." Remember when Gruden went out? Like that. I love Gruden. Have you ever heard him talk? He almost sounds like he chops wood outside.
Yeah, he does.
He's like a great woodsman.
But he just, I just. I don't know. Yesterday I was just looking at him. They had the camera on him, and I was like, I just don't like your face. Like it had to just be me not liking his face, because like he's done nothing wrong, and I completely understand that. It's just me being I just didn't like looking at him, and it's so little. It's so little.
All right. But Baker, what about? Like, I don't know if you see my tweets.
Don't get me started.
I cannot stand that guy. Like, oh my God. I hate fake tough people. Like me in real life or whatever, I've done some things, like I'm not the greatest guy, but I've been some bad places. I lived in some bad places. I hate fake tough people. Like, I am not a tough guy. I'm a family guy now. Like, I'm cooling, I'm chilling. I'm not trying to be something I'm not. And that's how people should live, bro. Like he is so fake, so cap. Everything about him is like if I was his therapist, I'd be like, bro, you're just scared to lose. He sets himself up for excuses every damn week. And make sure he tells everybody knows that he hurt, except when he plays the Bengals, right? He suddenly wasn't hurt then, right? He felt great that week, right?
Yeah.
If he wins, then he feels great. Then he loses. Then he blames he blames the fans this morning for those fans were too loud when we were on offense. Like, shut up and hike the ball, you coochie. I cannot stand it, bro. Like, I cannot stand that dude, bro. He's only doing this so that the Browns can still pay him the money. But I've been telling Browns fan, I woke up this morning with rage. I was like, fuck the Browns. I'm gonna make y'all draft another quarterback. Like I told you off air, I talked to Jimmy Chase. He said Jamar is angry, and I want to bury them. By the time we go to them, I want them to quit. Much like the Steelers did, I wake up with rage. I do not like those dudes.
Yeah.
They think that they're Super Bowl contenders. I just want to get them. I want to get them.
Hey.
I don't know why I got like this, bro.
Hey, how does last place in the North feel, Browns fans? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. I need somebody to tell me, how does last place? I've been there. It doesn't feel good. Super Bowl contenders. I've never said that whenever we were in last place. I've always said I think we need to be a better team, but how does it feel to finally be in last place in the North again? I want to know.
I did a debate with the Browns dude Quincy. It's epic. It's one of my finest moments.
Oh, yeah.
I had an answer for everything. I never go back and watch my stuff. Somebody messaged me the other day and said, "Bro, you just ate on it." I was like, "Really?" He was like, "Man, go like everything you said actually happened. You said Baker was going to be trash. You said OBJ. Like the dude was telling me OBJ was better than Jamar Chase. I told him about the ACL. Yeah, this stuff is crazy. He said he was going to Super Bowl, and nobody. And look, and people in the comments, there was hundreds of people. People in the comments were saying, "Yeah, like they are going to Super Bowl. There's no way they're going to lose more than 5 games." I was like, bro, you have Andrew Billings before the season. Like, I'm gonna give you the link to this Twitter. It's a Twitter debate with the guy Quincy. Ace does an AFC North talk, with all the guys or whatever. And they must have said, man, get Zim on him, because everybody kept on messaging me like, go debate this guy. I said our 2015 team is light years ahead of me. He was like, y'all didn't have no Myles Garrett. I was like, yeah, we did. His name was Geno Atkins. And I was just telling him, I was like, look at our weapons. You don't have any. And to watch it all play out has been one of the greatest things that's ever happened in my life.
Hold on. They said they weren't going to lose more than 5 games. Hold on.
Yes.
I'm going to screen share something really quick, and I need you to just confirm this. Ready? Hold on. Ready? We're both looking at this right now. We're both see this? Do you see this?
Yeah.
Ravens, Bengals, 6-4. They said we were. That's the over under right there.
The over under was 5.5.
The over under is 5.5,
right.
and we have 4.
Right.
That's a pretty number right there. Look at that. Look at that number, 600. That's a great number right there.
Right.
5-4-1. Yeah. Hey. Look. Hold on. One of these away games. Who did we beat? The Steelers. That's right, class. And then what? More than 5 games. 5 games. You have to win out. And that means you have to play us again.
We're gonna crush their dreams. I hope it's a meaningful game for them. I hope that they like. This is one of my hopes. I pray for this. I hope that their last game is like they're trying to go 9-8 so that they can get into like a tiebreaker situation. Like, like that has like one little glimmer of hope. Like if we could just tie with them, we could have like one of those scenarios and we just come in there and crush them.
Smack them.
Because if they're like terrible by then, it won't be as fun. I want to crush their dreams on it. Week 17, I want to crush their dreams, bro. Yeah. Like I've heard so much trash talking from them dudes this year. Like you would, I bring it on myself though a little bit, right? Because I am who I am. So they come and seek me out, and and I get really frustrated, but I love it. It's like one of my new loves. I used to wake up, people would cut me off on the road. I'd be like, oh, he must be a Steelers fan. Now I don't know if it's a Browns fan or a Steelers fan, and I hate him.
Either.
I don't know. I'd be like, let me see your keychain. Like, if somebody gets on my nerves or something, I'd be like, let me see your keychain. Like around here.
Hold on. I'll show you what my keychain looks like really quick. Give me 1 second. Hey, you guys know who we're repping already,
right?
Hey, what does this say right here?
Yes, sir.
That's right. That's right.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, that's
there we go.
Put it on your.
See, you're a good guy. Like if you see people that get on your nerves, you gotta be like, hey, let me see your keychain. And like, what? You go see it, and it's gonna be a team you don't like. I promise you, every time.
Yeah.
Because Pittsburgh Steelers are really douches in real life. That's why they gravitate to them. There's a couple good guys out there though. I don't want to generalize everybody, but like assholes. I heard them Raiders fans was assholes at the game. And did y'all see how many people we had out there?
Oh, it was
a lot of orange.
It was a lot of. Some would say, hey.
Some would say
a whole lot of orange. Hey, put the plug in. Let's go. Never.
No, but it was. The guy told me that we have an Alaska chapter. And
really?
Of Bengals fans, and they showed out, bro. Like they were like, bro, it was 50-50 out there.
Wow, that is.
When we scored, did you hear how loud it would be? It was pretty loud. Like when Jamar Chase scored that touchdown.
For an away game,
think about when he's celebrating too. You see a bunch of orange in the crowd, bro.
Yeah,
like you gotta check that out.
Ocho Cinco was there too.
Ocho.
That's all I'm saying. He's one of the funniest guys I've met. I went, and I think I've told this story before. I don't know if you remember it, but it was at a high school football game. It was my high school football game, and he was coming, and he was at the Bengals game the next that Sunday, and I went up to him and I was about to perform because I was in the band and it was like pregame and I was going to play the national anthem. And I see him and he's eating a hot dog. And I go, Chad Johnson. And he turns around and he goes, what's up, man? And I'm like, can I get a picture with you? And he goes, yeah, let me finish my hot dog first. And he sticks the whole thing in his mouth. And while he's smiling, he's like chewing a hot dog and trying to talk to me. And it's just one of the funniest interactions with a human I've ever had. He's just like, whatever you see on social media and you're like, oh, is that really him? Yes, it is really him. He's one of the craziest people I've ever met in real life.
I want to meet him. You know, like I had an opportunity with Hugh Jackson at one point, and he was asking me, I think TJ, because I'm really cool with TJ too.
Yeah.
And something came up about Chad, and I just felt like the timing wasn't right. It was like, I want Chad to know who I am 1st and really know who I am. And I think it will make more sense. And I think like what me and him could create, like it might change my life. It's got it, but the time has got to be right. I think a lot of people sometimes like rush into something. Like I didn't want it to be like some, oh yeah, I'll do an interview for it. Like I want him to like understand. Like so since then, he's retweeted me a couple times. I think he sees my stuff. But I just think that the way that he approaches the Bengals is no different than I do. Like if you ever see him in an interview, he'd be like, yeah, they're going to playoffs and da-da-da. I just think two of us like that together.
Oh yeah.
I think that's special, bro. Like
that would be crazy.
Like, and I'm not saying it about just me. It's really about our energies together. Not me. It's just like what I'm representing a lot of fans in my mind, and I think he does too. But they, you know, I just think it would be good.
Yeah, really, I agree. I agree. I think the two people, actually three people that I think I would see in a room with you that would create something just incredible would be you, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Chad Johnson, all sitting at a table, and just they put a pen and a piece of paper right in the middle. You guys could create some just insane ideas. I think that would be the most insane thing on earth. I need to see like a video of that.
I feel like, yeah, Chad will come up with some good social stuff. I think Joe would sit there and kind of be like, that works, so that does. I think he's a real good judge of what's funny and what's not.
Yeah.
I think he'll be able to say like, I think that'll work, or I'm gonna look corny in that or something like that. I think I could design like some good stuff. I think Jamar Chase is going to be able to say, to give us the cool factor of everything.
Yeah.
To say like, nah, like I don't think we should wear that, or like this is probably what we should do. But I don't think he's going to talk much at all either. Joe wouldn't talk that much either. It'd probably just be me and Ocho really talking a lot.
Yeah. But
I pay attention to weird stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
I think I know how that conversation. I think Jamar Chase, I don't think he should be in that table though. I think he wouldn't. I don't think he would say anything.
I think you and Jamar isolated would be great because I think you would break something out of him.
That's a different conversation. It's like, that's when he get to talk that shit. Like, you know, like, and then we start talking about the, you know, like diamonds and like, I just think that's a different conversation. I think my idea has always been this. I evolved and I start having a show where I actually take athletes to like stores and stuff and like find out like what they really like. I think me and Jamar going to like Saks Fifth Avenue and like going through the racks and just putting shit together, talking about his cars, shit like that. I think he'll probably be more comfortable with that. I feel like Ocho is so crazy. Like, I just think me and him could just go to like Alabama campus, do some lit shit, go to a theme park, like do some lit shit. Joe Burrow, I got some really crazy stuff because he fucks with all of the stuff that we like for real. Him and Jamar are very alike.
Yeah.
I know one guy's black and one guy's white, but they are very alike. They are. They don't say much. They have this quiet confidence. And when they get angry, they go crazy and they go ham. Like they're very similar.
Yeah, when they talk, people listen. That's all I gotta say. And that's
I've never been in a room with Joe Burrow, but the room with Jamar that I was talking about, T. Higgins is in the room, Tyler Boyd is in the room, Trent Irwin, Puka Williams, we're all in this room, and my boy Ace and a couple of other guys I know, right? We're in a room. Jamar Chase doesn't say much. He doesn't talk to anybody when he first walks in there. Tyler Boyd is the guy that's kind of like the rapper, like a little bit more like
Yeah.
flashier, like he's moving around. T is just so cool. He's like the guy that would have won most popular in his school.
Yeah.
He's so friendly, me dapping up. I talked to him for a long time. When I did talk to Jamar Chase, he's very guarded in the sense that he's kind of like me. I know y'all know me from this Bengal stuff, but outside of this Bengal shit, I'm not really the friendliest guy. I love
Yeah.
talking to Garrett. I love talking to Bengals fans and stuff, but because I live in like Washington, D.C. and stuff, one of the rules, like when you're younger, you don't just randomly talk to like and get yourself in like these situations where somebody could rob you, take you somewhere you don't know. This is the city. Like people get robbed and killed out here. Like no joke. Right. So Jamar, I could tell, is from that same type of background in that sense. But he knew me. So me and him talked, you know, like it was great conversation, but he's very firm on like how he feels about stuff or like what he wants. When he's ready to go, he will leave and everybody will follow with him. You know, like he you know, he observes everything. And it was really good for me to see that because I think me and Ace left the thing and was like, damn, like, you know, you don't want to be like, man, what's your number? We're in the club or anything like that. But I left there and I said, you know what? He is a dog, like aggressive person. Like on a football field, I think that translates where guys don't, you know, like there's some nice guys out there. Trenton Irwin is the nicest guy ever, right? You know, in a tough moment, I don't think he's gonna bully somebody for the football. And I think Jamar Chase, they helped him over top yesterday.
Yeah.
But at the end of that route, all of that translates. He bullies the guy, he accelerates, gets the guy off of him. It's just him and him. Then the safety comes over.
Yep.
All of these things are things that people don't really pay attention to if you're just looking at analytics. It's like the personalities and everything matter. And when he scores and shit like that, yeah, he might give you a little gritty and do his little shit, but he's not gonna be like in your face, like like it's not like that because he's such a competitor. He doesn't have time for that shit. And I really love that about him.
Yeah, and when I think we saw that when you and I talked about it pre-show. We were talking about the picture of Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, and Jamar all doing the gritty at the same time after his touchdown. I think this is the most together I've seen a football team outside of last year's Bama team ever. At least this is the most together I've seen a Cincinnati team, just because I feel like the energy that Joe and like, and I feel like it's that, like, it's a mirror. You can see it on the offense and you have the same thing on the defense, where you've got guys on the offense who are not going to talk, but when they're by themselves and they're in the locker room, they're going to go crazy. But like you have the same thing. Like that's how I kind of feel like how Von Bell is. Like he's not gonna he's gonna talk a little shit, but when he gets in the locker room, he's gonna go crazy and he's gonna like, and that's how I feel like Jesse Bates is. Like he's a little guarded, he's a little like in himself.
And see, he's
like,
a good guy in real life too. Wake Forest, like, you know, Von Bell. Did you see the week he walked around with the ski mask and shit? He's more like I love this team, man. Look, I have a tweet that before the season started. I said, bro, I don't know how many games they're going to win, but this is going to be a fun ass team to watch. And I always remember that tweet because I never thought like we would really be looking like, okay, we're the best. I feel like we're the best team in the AFC North. That's why I keep on saying,
I agree.
Let's just go win the division, right?
Yeah.
Let's say they don't. Say things don't happen the way that we want. I feel like the foundation is very, very strong. And I feel like the personalities and all of this stuff with the culture of the team, they did a really good job. And the front office needs to be commended on like getting the right guys together. Yeah. And they better solidify it and like sign guys like Quentin Spain to a nice deal. Like right now, reward him. He is playing at a Pro Bowl level, and to me, is the most underrated guy on the football team. He is the glue to the offensive line behind the scenes. I know for a fact because I've hooked him up on some stuff. But he gets guys together for dinners. He's the guy that does so much stuff to me, and his attitude towards winning is so perfect for this team because he has, like, much like myself, he has a background of I've been in some bad places. I've lived in some good places, and I know, you know, how to work around. I'm a chameleon to my environment anyway. And Quentin Spain is like that. Some people aren't like that. OBJ is not a chameleon to his environment. Although I'm not a OBJ hater. I actually kind of like OBJ. but he's not a chameleon to his environment. Whenever he gets somewhere new, he still feels like this entitlement to like, I've done this before and everything like that. And I might feel like that sometimes in real life, but the best football players never felt like that. They just go in head first and just work. AJ Green to this day walks into wherever he's at, and I talk to him sometimes, like a little bit less lately, right? But he walks in every single day as though like I have earned nothing.
Mhm.
And that is a special quality to have. And I feel like Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, guys like Quentin Spain, Von Bell, they all move like that.
Mhm.
And when you start getting guys that have entitlement to them and stuff like that, you know, like it's a dangerous thing because you have to win if you're gonna have personalities like that. I
Yeah.
think when we won or we didn't win and you know, them guys are happy. Tyler T. Higgins was happy as hell yesterday. He had 2 catches for 15 yards.
Mhm.
You know, there's going to be weeks when you're so balanced that Joe Mixon is just going to go crazy sometimes. And Jamar Chase only has 30 yards, but that doesn't stop how he felt about, you know, like
Yeah.
some guys
They
not
still
like
won.
some guys are not like that. Some guys fake like they're like that in the NFL, and they're not really like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to call some guys out, but some guys fake like they're like that. They're not like that.
And I feel like I get scared sometimes because like you in the past, this team has not been like that. And I get scared because there have been guys on this team who aren't like that, who aren't, you get 2 catches for 15 yards like T. Higgins. He's still like, you saw him take a picture with Jamar Chase and Chad Ochocinco. Like the other guys aren't going to do that. He was still happy as shit that he won. You know, like other guys, I feel like we haven't done that. And I feel like going forward, that's such an important thing that we have acquired with our team that is unlike anything else. And going forward, what do you think is the most important thing that we have to focus on? I know I had a feeling that Joe Mixon was going to answer my prayers and go crazy. And I felt like this.
He had my
Raiders game
fantasy team good.
yeah, I feel like that Raiders game was the perfect opportunity for him to show that he can still go crazy and that he's still a top 5 running back in the league. And he
For
did,
sure.
and he showed it.
Right.
And it wasn't like 120 yards with a Nick Chubb 75-yard rush. He was angry running. Like he
remember the one where he
30
trucks
carries.
Jamar Chase?
Yes. I was like, oh my God, I've never seen that before. And then Jamar gets up and like looks at him and he's like, hell yeah, let's go. And he's like ready to dap him up and stuff. And I'm like, I've never seen that. Like if I got hit, I know I wouldn't be like that. I'd be like, who the hell just hit me? Like, but like Jamar gets up and he's like, what happened? And then he sees Joe like running past him and he's like, oh shit, let's go. And like, I feel like that's as a team, that's, I feel like the most important thing going forward is how our team works. And they've always said it. They're like, we're not in it for, it almost feels like a high school team. I feel like I'm watching Friday Night Lights and I'm like, all these guys are together. They're not in it for the money. They're not in it for like, all the cars and jewels and like fame and everything. They want to go and they want to get like, they want to win. Joe wants to win. And I feel like that's kind of the most important thing, at least to me, going forward in this team, being able to beat teams like the Chargers, like the Ravens again, the Chiefs, the Browns, and then the Steelers next week.
We're gonna knock them out. I watched the Steelers the last couple of weeks. Like we're gonna get up on them. They quit last time we played them. I don't know. People don't remember that they quit. There's a 4th down. They threw like a 2-yard pass to like Najee Harrison. Like they just conceded, and we're gonna take their will again and just like it's gonna be a sweep of them boys. Like I might just get on Twitter like this week and don't even say nothing. I might just put 7-4 and then walk away.
Yeah,
because I don't fear them at all one bit. I feel like it's time. We're the bullies now. Yeah, I really feel that way. Like I talked to you about the personalities of you guys. Like Mixon will go in there. To this day, go Le'Veon Bell, drop it on him. Joe Burrow wants all the smoke with them dudes. Like Jamar Chase is looking for a corner that could check him over there. Like he's like I know exactly how they feel about them. Like they are nothing to them. And I don't know what TJ Watt's health is like or whatever, but that's the only way that they could actually affect us is like an effective pass rush. You can't run. You can't really run on them like you want to. Like they wouldn't be able to run on the Steelers like how they just ran on the Raiders, I believe.
Yeah.
But you never know though. You start airing it out a little bit and get them spread out a little bit. I'm gonna tell you the Highsmith, I believe, is now added some good pass rush moves to his game, and I like what he's doing. But their offense can't do nothing with us. Their offense, like if we just stay in the zone like we did last time, we'll let Najee Harris just get 15 catches, just like he did the last time. They can't do nothing with us.
Yeah.
You got to push the ball down the field to beat the Bengals, like into the zones and whatever. And Ben can't throw that far.
Yeah. You can't. You have to beat us in the box. I think that's the only thing that I'm worried about. The other thing that
you got to attack the linebackers in the box.
Yeah. And behind, if you can get just behind the linebackers and right in between, like if Jesse's deep and you can get a slant down the middle, that's the only way you're beating us, because you're not getting through our front seven and you're not going to beat our corners on the outside.
Right. And I like Awuzie one-on-one with Deontay Johnson. Claypool, it sounds crazy. I just think like you just stop him from getting deep passes and you'll be fine with him.
Yeah.
And so maybe Eli Apple isn't the greatest matchup for him, but I love Awuzie and Deontay Johnson. I think they need to go one-on-one with that, because
I like Mike Hilton on Chase. Honestly, I like Mike Hilton on Chase Claypool. I think he's gonna bully him.
But see, Chase, but he's never going. I'm about to say they're not going to put him in the slot that much though.
Yeah.
And see, now they had no Juju, so they go a lot of Fryer moves or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the type of tight ends that give us problems. Like that's not the guy. Darren Waller ended up with 100 yards, right? So he's on my fantasy team. So shout out to Darren Waller. But that's a tight end that could get, like the elites that can outrun it. And you got to figure like Freiermuth is not a guy that's going to do nothing with us. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I don't see the talent. I don't see anything. They're super banged up. I don't know if I run a Bengals versus Steelers page.
Yeah.
All they talk about is their injuries all day, and Joe Hayden's not there, and all these people aren't there. That Lions game was the most pathetic football game I've ever seen in the National Football League, and that was just a week ago. And you cannot tell me 2 weeks removed from that, they like magically just got better. The referees might get better, but I just think if we get up on them, they can't push the ball down the field. And Ben, like when Ben had the pass yesterday, all right. So look, they had a punt block. So a block punt. So they get the ball short field. They get the interception short field. He goes down. He had 3 different plays that gave him short fields, much like the Browns did, so that it allowed them to catch up, right?
Yeah.
Short fields, cool. Ben Roethlisberger he's smart enough to dink and dunk in those situations. He gets 7 plays at the goal line because they give him a pass interference call. The Steelers are the only team in the National Football League that don't have a defensive pass interference called against them, but their oppositions have more defensive pass interferences than anybody in the National Football League. A little strange, but they give them that. They knock it in, bang it in from 1 yard line, right? Boom. Mm-hmm. When Ben now has a whole field to go, 2 straight sacks back to back from Bosa. He can't drive a whole field if I know you're passing. Not at his age, at 39 years old. He cannot drive a field. He has to dink and dunk, and we're ready for it. I think Hubbard and Hendrickson eat and kill them. Like their line is not anything in the pass game. He's smart enough to get rid of the ball before you get a sack.
Yeah, I agree.
But if he's in a passing situation, watch this. There's going to be more sacks than the Bengals ever had this whole season if you get them in a passing situation. I watched their line collapse on him. He had a 4th and 36.
Yeah, that was really
because
pathetic.
He was getting sacked. He can't watch.
Yeah, it's hey, everybody, watch. This is, like people that say, "Oh man, we gotta be ready for the Steelers." Like, nah, I hate to look ahead. I'm not worried about the Steelers. There's some teams later on that I feel like I like that Broncos matchup. Mm-hmm. I like teams that can't really score that many points. You know what I'm saying? Because we score points. Yeah, I like the Broncos. I think we talked about it. I don't know about the 49ers. I'm a little scared about that. Kansas City's explosive. I just don't want them to be. I really think if we can shut down Tyreek to under 100 yards, then they're done. I mean, what are you going to throw to McCole Hardman the whole game and then hand off to Clyde Edwards-Helaire? He's not going to,
Right.
not against DJ Reader. Sorry.
I just
don't
like Tyreek. I wouldn't bet against Pat Mahomes though.
I'm not gonna bet. Not necessarily.
Because he's like Joe, bro. Like he just moves around, buys time.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, Kelsey open. Like you cannot stop that shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like the matchup at home.
Okay.
I think that's the only reason why I'm so bullish on it is because I like the matchup at home. At Arrowhead, different story.
Right.
But at the Jungle, I think it's a very, very different game.
Okay.
But and then at Cleveland, I mean, come on. We were 3 plays away from winning the Cleveland game because the interception is a 4-score or a 14-point swing, and then
the fumble, the Uno fumble.
Yeah, the fumble, and then
the fourth and three. The 4th and 3. And then take it a step further. T. Higgins doesn't catch the touchdown right before the half.
Yep.
I think you settle for a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
You come back, Jamar Chase has a step on Newsome. Joe Burrow underthrows the ball. Like there's so many small mistakes in that game, and there's big mistakes in all of it. Like the Bengals were actually really had a really good game plan. It just got really. I hate that game.
Yeah.
Like that's a game we got our ass kicked, and I know I don't want to be the guy creating excuses, but if you really watch that game, really rewatch that game, it's not like what you think. And that's the crazy part about getting blown out in the NFL. Like it can happen really fast, just like you said, off of like 3 costly mistakes.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I think week 8 and 9, we're going to be kicking ourselves in the teeth for the rest of the year, just because we easily could be 8 and 2. And I mean, when you think about it, really, I don't even want to, like, looking back on it, I don't take back the Packers game. Yes, we should have won that game, but I'm okay with that loss. Once again, the Bears lost. I'm less worried about that loss.
Right.
It's now week 8 and 9 that I just want to erase.
If I could get that Jets one back.
Yeah, I want. Yeah,
if I could just get the one Jets, we'd be in first place just off of that, wouldn't we? 7 and 3.
Yeah, and we beat the Ravens, so yeah, we tiebreaker. We get first.
Yeah, like that one game is just. Let me ask you this: how important? I've always said this, and we gotta wrap this up pretty soon. I gotta do some work.
Yeah,
I want to ask you this: how important? I've always said Joe Burrow, if he gets to the playoffs, right? I'm gonna show every Bengal fan what I know. I'll be there at the 50-yard line, shirt off. It'll be. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be one of the greatest days of your life. It'll be just as great as the day that I'm on the float, right? Almost as good when we break that ice, because I'm gonna show y'all. You were only one quarterback away from getting a playoff win all that time.
Mm-hmm.
How important? He's going to win the first playoff game no matter who we play, because it's like, NCAA tournament. You get that one dragon heart guy that just that wills his team to victory no matter what. So that's why we always win the first game. You get to the second and third rounds, that's where coaching comes a little bit more into play. How important do you think it is for us to come in maybe possibly with like a bye week, or come in as a higher seed versus just coming in as a wild card? Do you think that even matters for us?
I actually was about to I was about to ask you the same question. Actually, it's kind of weird. But I like going in as a lower seed only because it's another chip on our shoulder. If you go in as like a 2 or 3 seed, you have the expectation to win. And then it's different now, but in the past, I've been so ingrained going into 5 straight seasons with a playoff win, or looking for a playoff win, and we crumble under the pressure. Right. I personally like going in as a 5 seed, a 6 seed, a 7 seed. I almost want us to go in as one of those lower seeds, even if
you go 4 and 3.
Yeah, if we go 4 and 3, let's just say
you're going to be one of those. You're going to be a 5-6.
Yeah, 560, we don't win the division. I think that puts even more of a chip on our shoulder. Let's say we go and we have another divisional matchup like 2015. You go in and instead of Pittsburgh and us, it's Baltimore and us. You really think Baltimore is going to beat us in the playoffs with that big of a chip on our shoulder, especially going into Baltimore again? We're gonna kick the shit out of them.
Right.
Like that's just I don't see us losing the first round. I think the last time we talked about it, you were like, I don't see us losing in the first round, and I don't.
There's no scenario. The only scenario I could see, and I hate to even think like this, is you run into a team that just has superior coaching like the Patriots.
Yeah.
Like, say you see them first round, and Zach and company don't make the adjustments fast enough, Belichick will capitalize. Like, that's a team. That's the type of team, and I don't even want to finish the rest of this sentence, but you know what I'm getting at. Like, that's a coaching.
Yeah.
Playoffs first round is a lot like we all fell in love with NCAA tournaments. At some point in the NCAA tournament, coaching starts to come into play.
Yep.
In the smart Brad Stevens of the world and all these guys like that, they figure out like little, backdoor plays and different things, that intricate ways that you just can't stop and you weren't ready for it.
Experience.
That's what happens later in the playoffs. But Bengals fans, we're about to learn that. And I hope we don't learn it the hard way.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, he come in there hot. That's a tricky. I asked you that question because I just don't know. In one hand of me, I'm like, nah, just give me an easier path.
Yeah.
Just give me an easier path. Give me a bye. I come back and then I just kick somebody's ass that shouldn't have been there. Like the Titans. Like, say somebody gets there and they win a game that they shouldn't have been, and I'm like the 2 seed. Then I gotta go see them there. And I feel like we'll kick their ass their week too. And then all I gotta do is win one more game. The scenario that you're saying is like you gotta really be hot. You got to come in hot. You just went 4-3, but your last 3, you had to come, like last 2 games, you had to be hot for you to come in there and think like that. You couldn't go 4-3 and lost to the Browns and whoever we lost before then, and then think you're going to go to the playoffs as a 6
and win,
and then run into
right now it would be the Patriots. Right now, if we go in as a 6 seed, it would be the Patriots, but we're going in as a 5 seed and we're playing the Chiefs.
Okay. Crazy as that sounds, I'd rather see them, bro. Rather see them. I think our defense is better than the Cowboys, and I saw the Cowboys last night missing like their key pass rusher and stuff. I just think that Dak Prescott for the last couple of weeks is a little trash. They don't have Amari Cooper this week coming up. They don't have CeeDee Lamb. All they're going to have is Mike Gallup. Like, everything is stagnant about them. And I just don't believe that the Chiefs did anything to like really impress me. I didn't watch a lot of that game. I only watched like a quarter.
I think we beat half of the AFC playoff picture right now. I think we can beat Tennessee, Baltimore, and Buffalo.
I'm gonna tell you the 2 teams that I rather not play them, and people sleep on them, is Tennessee and the Patriots. And the reason why I say Tennessee is because one of the things that's super slept on is their defensive pass rush. Like, much like how we have a reader, the dude Simmons.
Yeah,
he's playing like Aaron Donald right now. Like, I swear, I kid you not. I watched a cut up. This guy I'm watching that I follow on Instagram, he showed these cut-ups of him. He is terrorizing games, and it's a big focal point of how they're winning these games. They got a good secondary that's solid. Like, Tennessee plays very sound football. The Bengals fans, I think, in general, aren't scared of them because who's the last team that we kicked ass last year when we had a bad team? So that's like in our heads, but they're completely different. And a lot of teams find that out the hard way. If they would have had Derrick Henry, I'd have said, hell no, I don't want no parts of them. But they still run really well. But let me tell you who's that left tackle. Bob Hart. They had some injuries, and Bob Hart is out there.
Starting left tackle, baby.
And Hendrickson will eat his food. They better get, I don't know. So I would play them, but I'm going to tell you that they're super slept on in the regard of their defensive line is the most underrated in the National Football League, and they got a pass rush that will get to you. Like, if we have any inconsistencies up front at the offensive line, they will get you. And they will, and on the opposite side, They got 3rd and 2. They're getting all of those.
Yeah.
3rd and 3. They're getting all of those. Like they're running for all of that. I don't give a fuck if it's Adrian Peterson or my mom back there. They get all of those.
I still think we beat Tennessee on the outside. Personally, especially when not if, when we have T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase all firing on all cylinders, because it's going to happen, and it's going to happen. If it's not next week, it's the week after.
I think this week, last time that Chase played Steelers, he had 2 touchdowns, had a pretty good performance. I think this week coming up is a T. Higgins game.
Yeah.
I think this is a T game. And I think Boyd for the rest of the year is going to look just like yesterday. I think Joe woke up and said, you know what? 6-7 targets. He's going to give me what I need. We're going to run 3-4 plays that we know are always going to work. Boyd's going to get 60-70 yards in his sleep, like for the rest of the season. He's going to be very close to 1,000. But T is the missing link where if he goes off, we're the most unstoppable team in the National Football League, not even the AFC. Yeah. Like, you want to talk about explosive? You start getting all 3 of those dudes firing on all cylinders, and Joe Mixon running like that, and now your interior line is pass and run blocking grades at the top of the NFL. Like, we're scary. People are so critical on our offensive line. Let me tell you, teams would suck nuts for a Deontay Smith, a Jackson Carman, and a Xavier Su'a-Filo, and who am I missing? Missing one more guy. But either way, as your depth piece, those guys right now, those 3 guys that I just named are starting for 90% of the NFL. But Bengals fans are not trying to hear that. They just see Joe hitting the ground. They're like, whatever. I'm telling you, Deontay Smith played for the Steelers. He'll start tomorrow. Like that reach, like the intangibles that they will coach him up. He'll start. That is a starting offensive lineman. Like, these are no scrubs, bro. Jackson Carman, he would start for the Steelers right now. Like, bro, they would make him like lit. And that's the part that I'm like, now that identity is now solidifying itself and saying like, nah, like I'm really good at this spot. We're not weak at the tackle position. Trey Hopkins probably had one of his better games yesterday.
Yeah. Riley Reef got eaten on a little bit, but I think it was just an off game.
Right. And then Spain, like I said a couple times, to me, he's the most valuable player on the offensive line. He is not.
He's the glue.
He might have had one bad game that I can remember. I think it was like week 3 or something like that. Best offensive line. Like, he's played the best on our offensive line all year.
Yeah.
Where are the holes at? Like, Bengals fans got to wake up and say, you know what? Like, we fixed that shit.
Yeah.
Like, Joe will get hit, but, bro, we fixed that shit, and we got depth pieces behind them.
So we've got a battle right now. We've got 2 good right guards right now. I'd say Jackson Carman's playing pretty good. His grades have been good. And then you have Adeniji who's playing better.
Right. You got Xavier Su'a-Filo. You got Xavier Su'a-Filo, who's now on the rehab field. He might get activated coming up really soon, but you got a guy right there that was drafted at the very first pick in the 2nd round, high premium pick, starting guard for the Cowboys for a year or 2 or whatever. Like, and then, I mean, he's legit in that regard. Like, he's not starting caliber, I think, anymore in the National Football League, but for a lot of teams he would. And that's like the 3rd, 4th guy off the bench. You also got Trey Hill, who didn't look that great, but that's a piece. That's a good depth piece. You don't feel – it's not like you're doing Billy Price type shit anymore.
Yeah.
And that's one of my things I'm saying. It's like, people got to really understand this shit really did get fixed. And I don't feel like they're elite, but for their style of play and how they want to run their plays, it's not super powerful with their offensive line. It's more built for passing game. But they're really solid at this point, and this is the best I felt about the offensive line in about 3-4 years, bro.
I agree. I'm going to name the title of this episode, Wake Up.
Wake up.
Hey, Bengals fans, you got to wake up. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much, Zim, for joining me in this conversation. Once again, another lovely conversation.
Just talking, not even a show.
We were just talking. So if you enjoyed just watching us talk, please join in on the YouTubes. You'll see our our total in-depth breakdown of the AFC North standings and all the stuff in between. Thank you so much for joining us. And
ZimHouday.com, people.
yes, plug yourself. Hold on, plug your Twitter.
ZimHouday.
All right.
Instagram is Zim_Houday. Check me out on Orange is the New Black podcast with Cincy Jungle. Just Google just Cincy Jungle. It's gonna pop up in the podcast store. SB Nation. But more importantly, like I need you guys' support. Go to ZimHouday.com. Whole lot of orange. One of the greatest things I think. I thank God every day. Like I got my design out and I met some good designers and we collaborated and we got this thing put out. I'm working on some really good shit coming up too.
Hey.
Like when the season is over, I'm gonna give you a hint. Like guns a blazing.
Hey,
and Joe Burrow, like I got some shit that's gonna. I feel like it's gonna be nice. You know, we will never be another whole lot of orange, but
I'll be the first one in line.
Right.
But
I know you. So I'm gonna send you something. I got you.
Hey, thank you. And thank all of you to listening. Have a good weekend. Have a good Thanksgiving. And
gobble.
Houday.
Houday.